the Day of Judgment by the beloved Maha Chohan, an excerpt from Electrons and the Elemental Kingdom, compiled by Werner Schroeder from the Bridge to Freedom material. That which people call the Day of Judgment is an individual affair, as I shall try to explain to you. When the life stream chooses to finish with the human will and return the outer vehicles and outer man to the use of the God identity, he, by that act, signifies that he has found himself unhappy in his chosen path of separateness, and wishes to identify himself with the God principle that governs the universe, and which lives by the law of harmony. Students of the law of life are people who have signified their willingness to relinquish these stolen vehicles back to the God identity that has sustained them through the long centuries. This noble gesture immediately brings the individual to the attention of the hierarchy of the hosts of heaven, and the book of life, or the book of judgment, is brought out, and his account is read therein. Every electron that the individual has taken from the unformed light in the heart of God and sent out into the universe, stamped by the light pattern of his life stream, must be accounted for. If the electrons went forth in harmony for a constructive purpose to fulfill at least a fair proportion of that person's reason for being, these electrons are released from the debt side of his ledger and become a part of the storehouse for good in the causal body. But the countless hundreds of thousands of tons of energy that the individual has so boldly drawn forth from God's heart, where it was resting in ease and peace, and sent forth discordantly qualified by the willful and selfish thoughts and feelings of the personal self, must be returned to the individual in one form or another, until that life stream redeems that energy and sends it forth in love. For it is the law of life that any energy sent forth which does not comply with the law of harmony must be cleansed and purified by the dispenser. Now, when I say returned in one form or another, I mean that oft times the energy sent forth, qualified inharmoniously through the individual's own free will in one lifetime, will come back to him in some particular trait or characteristic in some person around him, which is particularly annoying or distressing. And that energy coming from another life stream, which baits the temper, must be loved into harmony, or it will appear again in another life stream, some place on the individual's path. No two people are annoyed by the same traits, habits, and characteristics of the people, animals, or circumstances. Why? Because each one is only prodded by the energy which corresponds to his own failing in some lifetime, and which life, in mercy, brings back to him in order that he may redeem it, and so set both himself and the other one free. When an individual comes to a place where his ascension is in view, the return of this energy is greatly accelerated, and the conditions and individuals seem to pop out of the very earth that cause every conceivable type of annoyance. If one could only realize that this bombardment is but the return of one's own energy, which is called in by the cosmic law ere one can pass through the portals of freedom, that one would not feel so resentful and rebellious. A realization of this, beloved ones, would save you from depression and doubt, and you would know that in that very pressure and stress of circumstances there was a promise that the hierarchy knew you were ready to handle the energy and to have the glory of the ascension. So every moment becomes an opportunity to balance your account until the red ink runs dry.